Do you have a fear of thunder and lightning? Do you feel really anxious when you know that there's a storm? Do you always watch the weather? Do you panic and have to run away or hide when there is thunder and lightning and you hear a storm? If so, you may have astrophobia, which obviously is a phobia of thunder and lightning. So I'd like to share some tips to help you to feel calmer and better about thunder and lightning. So the first thing is to understand it. Quite often when we don't understand something, we catastrophize and feel worse about it. A phobia, by definition, is an irrational fear. So what we really need to do is rationalize it. And part of that rationalizing is first to understand that obviously it's loud, so it can make you jump, but equally, it usually starts in childhood from copying a parent's reaction, or because when we're little, we don't really have a huge view of the world and we don't understand it, and we are fearful or aware of loud noises that are particularly unexpected. So that's usually where it comes from. However, the simplest way to explain what is thunder and lightning, to kind of help you to make sense of it. Obviously, we've got weather pressures, etc. But the simplest thing to imagine is that the clouds are having an argument and they're banging off each other and bouncing off each other. And then what actually happens is that an energy is built up between these two, sort of crashing into each other. And when a lot of energy builds up, there has to be some form of release. And that is what we call lightning. So it might go out towards another cloud, or it might go across the sky or downwards, but it is just a release of energy. Imagine, you may remember from school, getting a balloon and rubbing it on your head and your hair stands up on end. Well, realistically, that's kind of the same concept of the clouds sort of crashing into each other and rubbing against each other, and that same sort of electricity forming. Now, the thunder, on the other hand, is so obviously it gets super hot, the lightning, and so it's like the air around the lightning, which is super hot, kind of, because of the contrasting temperature, it's like exploding. And that is what the banging sound is. It is just that. It is just that air around the lightning exploding. And it's a bit delayed just because of how sound travels. So that's a sort of very brief explanation in the simplest of form of what thunder and lightning is. And by all means, go and do some research on it if you want a little bit of a more scientific understanding. For me, I used to not like thunder and lightning, and that explanation did it for me, but you might need more, and that's fine. But I hope that that's getting you in the kind of right direction. The second thing, and this might sound a little bit funny, however, I think that when we hear about, there's going to be a storm, or we anticipate it, we almost feel like it's coming for us. And I'd just like you to appreciate that a storm, thunder, lightning has no idea who you are, has no idea where you live, and has no vendetta against you, and therefore isn't coming after you. It's not. So basically, don't take it personally that the thunder and lightning is there to hurt you, because it actually isn't. These clouds that I was talking about that are banging into each other are random, and it's nothing to do with you, and it's not coming looking for you. Now, whilst a thunderstorm is happening, there are things that you can do. So the first one would be to find some distractions. That might be something like sewing or drawing or painting or baking, but you want something to keep you distracted, something that you enjoy, that's pleasurable. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is noise cancelling headphones, or perhaps listening to music. And the other thing that can really help is to do some breathing exercises, and one that you might like to try is smell a flower, blow a candle out. So smelling a flower, blow a candle out. And if you think about that on repeat, just controlling that breathing, smell the flower, blow the candle out. then that can start to help you to feel an element of control as well. Now, the very final thing is that nobody's born with a phobia, and understanding where it came from can really help to put your mind at rest, because for the majority of people that we have ever met or that have come to our clinic or that we've spoken to who have a fear of thunder and lightning, nothing has ever happened to them. So it's based upon the story that they've told themselves. And quite often that story has come from something from childhood. So understanding and making sense of that can also help, because you're putting all this fear into thunder and lightning, but realistically, in most of times, it actually never did anything. Granted, it may not sound great and it can be a little bit scary, the banging. If you hear a car backfire, we naturally jump because we have an awareness to loud noises. So I guess my final little thing, and it could be an affirmation for you, but thunder and lightning is just nature putting on a light and sound show. I really hope that helps. So here's 3 of your questions answered, and they're great because really common questions. The first is that I'm frightened that I'm going to get hit by lightning and I've seen it strike nearby. Most people who have a fear of thunder and lightning, that is one of the biggest fears, that lightning is going to hit them and they're going to be injured. So the great news is that it is extremely sort of rare. If you can imagine, there are millions of storms that happen all over the world, and yet there are so few people that are struck by lightning. And the reason behind that really is because now we have weather charts and weather apps, so we know in advance of when storms are going to hit and the likelihood of them being bad storms. We can actually take shelter and go indoors where we're protected. Inside cars we're protected, so all that helps. But if it helps you to feel better, in the 1940s, we don't have stats for the UK, but in the US, in the 1940s, around 100 people per year would get hit by lightning. Whereas now in the US, this has plummeted down to less than 20. And those that do get hit usually are not taking any precautions. They're usually out in fields under trees, but certainly not taking care. And the other thing is that most people that are hit by lightning actually survive and recover. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. The other thing that might kind of put it into perspective is less than 20 in America will get hit by lightning. Yet in the UK, stats that I've been looking at show that you're more likely to get trampled by a cow, because there are 20 to 22 cow fatalities where people get trampled by cows in a year. Or equally, you're more likely to get electrocuted by a toaster, with the stats on that showing around 300 per year. So I really hope that kind of puts it into perspective and makes you feel a little bit better. Second question is, it's the unpredictability that I don't like about thunder and lightning, when it's going to happen. Again, that's really changed because you can download weather apps and you will pretty much know exactly where you're going to experience thunder and lightning. So all you need to do is download a weather app, look on your local weather forecast, and there won't be any unpredictability because you can literally find out exactly where these storms are going to occur. And the final one is, I hate loud noises such as thunder. So that isn't so much a phobia of thunder and lightning. That is more likely something referred to as phonophobia, which is a fear of loud noises. And in those circumstances, there are so many things that you can do. Noise cancelling headphones, listening to music, putting the television on quite loudly, occupying yourself and distracting yourself. But that is a different issue when it's a fear of loud noises. Again, very, very common, but it is something that can be overcome, and I will certainly be putting a film up with some tips to help. As always, if you've got any questions, be sure just to pop them on here, anything at all, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks for listening.